Welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name is Sarah Willoughby. I'm the author of the book He's Making Diamonds, Teens' Thoughts on Faith Through Chronic Illness, and the host of the Diamonds Conference. And I'm here today doing my first ever interview on this channel with Hailey Hudson. Hailey is a really good friend. She's a freelance writer, she's a blogger, and she's the social media manager for the Diamonds Conference. And she's the author of Hope is the Thing with Feathers, which is a really cool World War II novella. I recommend it. Hi, Hailey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, I'm really excited. You were the first person that I asked to interview for this. I have a long list, but you were up there. So what's it like being a freelance writer, specifically a freelance writer with a chronic illness?
Being a freelance writer with chronic illness is a blessing, is the first word that comes to mind. Honestly, I'm currently 22 years old, and after high school, I was not able to go to college because of my chronic illnesses. And so, of course, I was navigating that question of, I cannot physically hold down a full time job, even a part time job outside the home. What am I going to do? And I had always loved to write growing up. And so when I discovered the world of freelance writing, I thought that was the solution, And so I started applying to jobs, and I write blog posts and ebooks, social media copy, all sorts of things for companies and magazines sometimes. So I, being a freelance writer with chronic illness is, chronic illness makes everything hard. So I wouldn't say that it's easy, but I am very, very thankful to have this job doing something that I love and something that I can do on my couch.
Definitely. Yeah, my one of the taglines for my YouTube channel is writing is hard and chronic illness is hard and together they can feel impossible, but I'm proof that they're not, and you're also proof that they're not. So what are sorry, let me collect my thoughts a minute. How do you navigate keeping up with deadlines that are, I know for a while you specialized in rush work and everything. How do you manage keeping up with that when health is unpredictable?
Yes, well, I had to stop specializing in rush work as my health declined. But yes, at one point I did specialize in rush work. But for just normal non-rush projects, if a client offers me a deadline range, I will take the one that's as far out as possible. And if I get it done ahead of time, that's great. But I just don't want to put that pressure on myself. So yes, I always just work ahead. Growing up homeschooled, I was very used to that concept of working ahead. And, if I want to go do something fun tomorrow, I will do all my schoolwork today. And so now it's like if I'm going to be at the hospital all day tomorrow for testing, I will do that work today. So I definitely always try to stay ahead of the game. And then, sometimes there are those days where I am in the ER, I'm really not feeling well, whatever it is. And during those times, I have discovered that clients are, people are very understanding. They're willing to give you grace. And so just not being afraid to reach out if you need to and just say like, hey, like, I'm not doing great. Like, I apologize. Can we push this out a little bit further? So working ahead as much as I can, but also just not being afraid to ask. And then people will normally give grace.
Mhm. Are there any specific ways that communicating with clients is important, specific in relation to your illness?
Um, Communication is so important for everything, and I do tell clients sometimes. I work with a lot of clients in the healthcare field, and so many of those clients are aware of my chronic illnesses because I tell them, like, hey, I can understand your target audience of patients because I am a professional patient, and so it's really helpful with those people. I don't disclose my illnesses to everybody. If I'm talking with a potential client, I am most likely not going to say, like, hey, like, I have ABC illness. But if it comes up for any reason, just naturally, then that helps people understand. But yeah, but communication is definitely important, and people have been really understanding.
That's cool. I've heard from several people lately who are having to push deadlines because of illness for writing, and they're very stressed about it. So that's encouraging.
Yeah.
Um, Do you have any pieces of advice or encouragement for chronically ill writers that you want to share?
Encouragement for chronically ill writers. This is something that I have to tell myself all the time as well. But there's no rush. That's something that I have been trying to tell myself lately. Obviously,
Yes.
sometimes you have a client deadline. There might be a little bit of a rush, but in general, in life, there's no rush. And I writing fiction was my first love, and that's what I did for years growing up. But the last couple of years, as my health has declined, I haven't been able to write novels because, my body is not functioning great, my brain is not functioning great, and I have to focus the energy that I have on my client work that pays my rent. And so, unfortunately, fiction has kind of fallen by the wayside for now, but I keep reminding myself that this is just a season, this is not forever. I will get back to writing fiction. So again, I'm preaching to the choir here, but I think that's something that I have been focusing on lately is just that there's no rush and I will find my way back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a theme for me too. I published my first book pretty young, pretty fast, but I have other books in the works. I'm not ready to handle that stress and that pressure yet. So yeah, no rush. I love that. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Hailey. Everyone, if you want to look in the down in the description of this video to find a link to Hailey's blog and social media information, definitely do that. She's just an awesome person in general. And you can find her writing there as well. And also comment down below who you would like to see me interview, what topics you'd like us to cover, and I will see you soon.